What's going on, guys? Austin here from GraphFit. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to take you guys through a mobility workout, and I'm not going to be going through all this myself. We're at my buddy Andrew's place, North Star. He's going to take us through the workout today, some of the workout, but I learned a lot of this stuff from him, so I want to credit him for this. I think mobility is absolutely imperative. I think it's important for not just powerlifting, but in general it's important to be mobile and have, full mobility in just your body and be able to move simply. So we'll take you through it now. So guys, in this video we are going to take you through a full body mobility workout. Now we first start off with pull-aparts, banded pull-aparts, and most of these workouts today, guys, are going to be for 2 to 3 sets around 15 reps. We first start off with this. We're warming up the scapular joint. So a lot of mobility, the major 3 areas you want to focus on is your shoulder joint, your scapular joint. In that region, you want to focus on thoracic, spinal region, so you want to focus on your thoracic spine. You also want to focus on hip mobility. So those are the major 3 we're going to talk about in this video. So you saw the pull-aparts first, then we went over to the overhead pull-aparts, then we now are on the shoulder dislocations with a broomstick. Again, everything is 15 reps. Now we're going to transition right here into more dumbbell-based work, and this is to work the rotator cuff. So we are doing external rotations for the rotator cuff, warming up that region of the shoulder. So the shoulder is a very complex joint. We switch over to the other side. So we're going to do this again for 15 reps on this side. We do again, like I said, 2 to 3 sets. Then we go into what I like. These are awesome. They're banded traffic lights. So we're doing it with a band, and we're doing another shoulder rotation, warming up the shoulder and also warm up that rotator cuff. Then we do the same move with dumbbells. So again, same rep range. So there's a lot of stuff in the shoulders, guys, to warm it up. Then we go into face pulls with bands. So these are face pulls, again, focusing on contracting everything when you come back, holding it briefly, then coming back. Then we go into what's kind of more so of almost like a static stretch, but it's a Y hold. So you're going to hold the band in a Y position for 20 seconds or so, and then we go into shoulder circles. Now one of the last ones is one of my favorites, and this is the scapular push-ups. So we do 2 to 3 sets, 15 reps each. Now we're going to transition onto the thoracic spine. So we're going to warm up the middle part of the body. Now we have the upper body warmed up, the shoulder regions now warmed up. We go into banded thoracic spine rotation. So again, 2 to 3 sets, around 15 reps. We're going to transition to the other side. So as you can see, it's like you're keeping your hand on your head and you have that elbow pointed down. You're rotating, trying to keep the spine neutral when you're rotating down there. So you want to keep everything in line. You want to make sure that your elbow doesn't bend, the other elbow that is on the ground. So then we're going to go into, a lot of people know these, and they're trunk twists. So same rep range, really trying to focus on keeping the back flat and just bending at the trunk. So you want to make sure that you rotate all the way through, tap briefly on each side. Then we go on to, this one is actually one of my favorites, and this is like a prone version of a single leg twist. So you're going into a prone position and you are tapping either side, trying to get that leg all the way up to your arm. Then we go into a supine version of the single leg twist, just trying to get that leg all the way up there, reaching out and just really warming up the thoracic spine. All right, so now we're going to move on to lower body mobility. I'm going to hand this next one over to my buddy Andrew to explain in more detail.
What we're doing next is what I'll call a 3-point touch. It's the dynamic stretch for your hamstrings. We'll go nice and simple, and this is how I have a lot of the gymnasts that I work with start stretching the back of their hamstrings in a more dynamic way. As good as static stretching is, dynamic stretching does have the benefit. You reach down through your toes right away, or as far as you can, so even if you can't make it down, you still reach to where your toes are. Then you come back up, reach to the mid of your foot, come back up, reach to the heel of your foot. Now, if you can touch the floor, it's going to look something along the lines of that, but you keep your legs up nice and straight, but it allows you to add a dynamic component to what is normally a static stretch.
I mean, Andrew couldn't have said it any better right there. Simply at the end of the day, why are we doing this mobility? Well, really what we're doing is we're trying to create more movement in the joint itself. We're trying to make the joints flow more freely, because when they flow more freely, it allows the joint to enhance its movement pattern, which then it puts you at less risk for injury or chance of injury, and also it creates more power, which in result leads to more range of motion and more strength gains and building more muscle with those things. So I highly, highly, highly recommend doing mobility. At least designating one day of your training routine per week, just one day of mobility. Even if you do a little bit of these exercises before your routine, it's going to make such a big difference. So these last things we're doing here, this is all quad and hamstring mobility we just did there. And what we were doing is we were doing pulses on each leg for 10 reps and holding it for 10 seconds. The last one we're moving into is hip mobility. And this is just to open up the hips. Again, this is a great one before squats. You're doing a hip circle walk. So you're putting a band, a resistance-based band called a hip circle around your knees. And you're walking about 10 feet. Taking strides about 10 feet, you're going to stop, then walk back 10 feet. And this, again, guys, is to open up the hips. So the last one we're going to go into, this is going to be a lateral version of this. So it's going to be a lateral hip circle walk. And again, this is to open up the hips and just keep everything active, everything flowing more freely. So I hope you guys found this video valuable, helpful. And like I said, mobility is going to allow you for your joints to move more freely, which in result is going to lead to more strength gains, less chance of injury, and going to build more muscle for you at the end of the day. So thank you so much, guys, and we will see you soon.